I know, I'm a wally. Forgot to turn the mic on this time. Far too much to remember. So we're back in the workshop again. I'm going to have to narrate this bit. I think we've got about 10, 12 minutes. Quick tidy up. What am I doing? Some of the things I do on the beginning of these videos. Anyway, right, so we've got it's a KitchenAid blender. It's a N, or is it a K400, I think. It's the heavy duty one with a really solid metal base. We've had it about 2 years, I think. Possibly longer, who knows? You always think you've had them less time than you really had them. We had a washing machine that's just blown up that I swore blind we'd had less than 3 years, and it turns out we've had it 10 years, but bearing's gone in that, can't repair that, otherwise you would have seen it. Well, I could repair it, but the way Beko make them is the casing that the drum sits in that holds the bearings is plastic welded together, and the only way you can get to the bearings is to break the plastic weld, and then you've got to re-plastic weld it back together, and there's no other clips or anything, so chance of it being waterproof afterwards. So it's a really shit design by a company that needs to give their heads a wobble, because it is the weak spot on it anyway, the bearings. So the washing machine would have lasted quite a long time, and it should have been fixable. You can buy a replacement drum and housing and bearings and everything, but it's about £50 less than buying a new washing machine. So we bought a new washing machine, which pained me no end, not because of the money, but because there's a perfectly good washing machine sat there with a collapsed bearing, and that's all it needs, a £5 part. Really irritating. Anyway, right, back to this. These are slightly better made, actually. These are really good quality. These glass things are quite expensive. I'm wagging my finger there, but the bottom line is it's howling like a howler monkey. And I think what I'm describing now, I do seem to remember, is that I want to get it replaced before the bearing actually seizes, because then the bearing will start to spin within the housing itself. It'll heat it up. I think if you saw Musty rebuilding a vacuum cleaner the other day, that's what that looked like it had done. It has spun and melted the plastic, but actually when he dug into it, it turns out it hadn't. The bearing had collapsed completely and lost its cage, and that's why it was off to one side. But we don't want to get to that stage with this anyway, because all horrible things would happen if it got to that stage. I have stripped it down once already about 2 months ago to have a look at it, to see how easy it was to fix, to decide whether to go and pester KitchenAid for replacement. You can buy them. I think they're quite expensive though. I think the unit's about 250 to 300 quid for the blender. They are very well made. The glass jar, I can't remember whether we got that with it or whether we got the plastic one. We've got a plastic one that's got bigger capacity. But anyway, they're quite expensive. I think they're about 100 or something pounds, and you can only buy the whole glass thing. You can't buy just this. So we've got the camera on it now. Right, so the thing is with this, it's torque settings. I think I spent at torque settings. It's torque screws, torques. It's quite a small one. I can't remember the size now. It's the smallest I've got in my set. So if you're doing this, it's probably the smallest one you've got in your set. I didn't have to resort to the micro ones or anything in the electronics kit. So yeah, I keep picking up the wrong one. Yeah, it's really crunchy. It's not completely gone yet, but when I took it to pieces, there was just a whole load of stinking, rusty, fruity kind of liquid all in it, which is, it's bad enough that liquid's getting through because it'll wipe the grease out, but the fact that most of it is citrus, so it's just eating it alive. So the bearings I've bought, you'll see, are ceramics, so they should last longer and spin better. It's fairly crunchy. So there's 4 screws here holding this this base plate on. I'm just holding it steady, because if you don't do this, the whole thing drops down. I don't want it bouncing up and breaking the glass. Probably wouldn't, because you can smash ice cubes in this. So once you've done that, they drop out, and the central housing, which holds the bearing, it is just a single bearing, pops out. Now there's a rubber seal there. Sorry, it's either rubber or silicone. It feels really crusty. That's what I'm poking at with my thumb there. But I think when I eventually get it out and look at it, you can see that it's okay. Actually, it's quite supple. And what it is, it's just residue, that's sugary residue that's built up on it. So I think I'm looking in my drawer there for some silicone grease, but I know the silicone grease is up in the garage, so I don't know why I started looking in there. So I have to nip off in a bit and go and fetch silicone grease. So yeah, I need to pop that out, clean it, and once we've got that off, then we need to. Yeah, all right. We know it's covered in crap. We need to smarten these videos up. Anyway, I'm going to pick away at that for a bit and try and clean it up and get most of it off. But I'll realise that actually the better thing to do would be go and take it to the sink, because I'm going to have to go and do all this. So if you spin it, you won't hear it on the audio, but that sounds really, really crap. There's a fair bit of residue building up on the inside of there as well. And that's the mounting plate. So you can see that liquid's got past most of the seals and into the bottoms. There is a problem as well when you're rinsing it out in the sink. You've got to make sure that you don't pour boiling water into the back of it, because I think the seals, the way they work, aren't that brilliant. You'll see this when we pop them out. They're not great, because they're running around a shaft that spins quite fast. There's definitely potential for it to get past, so I think it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. I did discover last time that if I get I think it's a 7/16, or was it a 15th, 6th? Yeah, it might have been a 7/16 spanner out. Hold on, I'll quickly look in my drawer, because I know which one it is. The drawer's sat next to me right now. It is an 11/16. The 11/16 spanner seems to fit in such a way that it just locks the pins enough for you to be able to pop it off. 'Tis a left-hand thread as well, so that's all I'm explaining there, that it's a left-hand thread. So the reason is that you shouldn't have to massively torque these up. And there's just one way that the spanner goes on, that it locks, and if you get it the wrong way, the spanner you'll get so far and it'll just suddenly slip, and then you'll lacerate your hand on the prong standing up there. So if you're worried about that, just put a tea towel over it or something like that, so it lessens the depth that the prong is going to embed itself into your wrist or hand. So that comes off. It's a stainless steel dome head nut. Don't know what you call them in the States. There's two stainless steel washers there, so there is no indexing on the or flat side or anything that keys the blade to the shaft. It's purely on the friction of those two washers. So you do need to make sure you got it nice and tight, but don't over tighten it, because if it does start to spin, it'll tighten the nut up anyway. The washers aren't keyed to the shaft either, and because it's a left-hand thread, as it's spinning, it will naturally tighten up if it needs to. But it does need to have some element of slip. So if it does hit something solid, it won't just stop everything dead. There will be a little bit of slip before the motor stalls out. That's my theory anyway. So again, that's probably another reason why you don't want to be over tightening it. There probably is a torque setting for it, which is probably another reason why they don't sell these. I think I discussed it earlier. They probably don't sell the parts for these, mainly because I think KitchenAid's American, and we know, and it's well, the UK is getting like that. But you know, if you sell a part for something, and then somebody lacerates their fingers or chops a finger off installing it, then there's a potential that there's an argument that you could be liable for the fact that you sold with the intention to be installed by some ham-fisted yokel with a sledgehammer who removes 3 fingers. Then it's your fault that he did that. Though personally, I err towards Darwin on that. But I guess that's why you might be here watching the video. It's because you wanted to know how to do it. So I'm poking around in here trying to find. So what I'm looking for, I think what I'm explaining here from what I remember is I've got to knock the bearings out. So to do that, I've got to have a cup. Now I think when I did it last time, I did it in my hand and I just whacked it with the ratchet, which isn't something I want to be doing on the video because that's not professional, and it's not a good thing to do to my expensive ratchet set either. So I need a hammer. I need something to protect the thing. Obviously I've nipped up to the other workshop now and gone and collected the lube. So this is the food grade silicone lubricant, lube. So it is food grade, so it can be used on here. There's nothing in there that's toxic or anything. I bought it because I use it on the coffee machine because there's a couple of things I have to pull off. And while I was in the garage, I found the missing thing, the remote control for the camera. Yeah, we're not going to whack it with that. So I've got the small persuader, so we're gonna try with that first, because potentially this is housed in plastic, so I really don't want to break it. So I'll give it a couple of knocks. I think it's dropped down a bit. The trouble is, you get so far with this, and what I've done is I put the washer on top of the shaft. Where there was a shoulder, it couldn't go down any further. The washers are quite strong, and that socket was fairly small, so it's fairly close. But the problem is, it'll only go so far down before I run out of space. So I have shifted it enough to knock the seal out. You can seal that. There you go. It's focused eventually. So that's actually the rubber seal, the shaft seal from the outer side of it. There's another one on the inside of it that's smaller, and you can see there's a fair bit of play there. So it is mullered. So I'm gonna have to get the bigger persuader out now and actually give it some welly with something metal. I think at this point I haven't got one, so I can't remember if I had to go running off to the garage to go and fetch another one. Yeah, just trying to find sockets again to put over things so that I couldn't knock them through. I think the problem I was having with that was I was using a spark plug removing socket, which should be deep enough, but the seal was getting stuck in the top of it, so I think I resort to whacking it with my hand, and then it flew out and scattered itself across the floor, never to be seen again. Oh no, looks like we're in luck, we've found it. Oops, I've moved the table. No, that's not where it was. Put it back where it was. Yeah, you've upset the camera as well now. I love it when I do that. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm watching the camera and trying to work out where the centre of the table is in relationship to where the centre of the camera is. So if you see me putting my fingers down places or pointing at things, it's not because I'm getting excited about something. It's because I'm actually trying to work out where the camera's focus point is. Oh, we're back. Forgot to put the mic on again. Right, so it looks like I'm narrating the first part of that. So let me tell you what we've done so far. This is off a KitchenAid. I think it's an M400 blender, glass, very expensive. Bearings started to go. A few weeks ago, I took it to pieces to find out if it was possible to take it to pieces, and got the size off the bearing because it's written on there. It's an R63, I think. I will check that because it'll be written on the ones I've got over there. It sounds terrible. There's stuff been getting down the inside of that seal there, getting into the bearing, and it's been eating it, and it's not in particularly good shape. So we've also got to work out we're going to get that off the shaft as well, because I've not thought about that. That's going to be an interesting conundrum. Yeah. Don't know how I got that off last time, to be honest. Or did I? I think I might have put it on something and whacked it. Or did I put a spanner underneath it and then held it and whacked it? That's probably what I did. In fact, if you get the rubber to go inside there. Right, so we're disassembling it anyway. We've got the bearings. I think we might have to put something a little bit more. Because that's not playing. I suspect a lot of this is down to the fact that Right, put that on there, put that on there. Not entirely sure that's moving. I have to get a little bit more percussive with it. I think the rubber mallet's not giving it what it needs, because I'm going to hit it that hard, it's just bouncing all over. So let's stick that back in there again. I could probably get a puller on this, but I'm not entirely sure it would help me any. I think I need something metal. So let's get a better size spanner. Let's go for something a bit smaller. Make sure that rubber seals inside there, which it is now. That's better. Alright, so now I can get a bit more scientific. Nearly off. I think the problem is now I've bottomed out. Right. At this point you think in your life, what would Ed China do? So I have got pullers and things that would probably do this, but they're all up in the garage, and I really don't want to be working on a expensive food processing thing in the garage. Oh, look at that, that's a lot cleaner now. That's pretty minging though. Right, so I think we need to clean all this lot up. Hopefully you are getting sound now. Can you hear this? Oh yeah, I've got sound now. I hope we've got sound now. We're going to do a little sound check in a minute. Apologies for the beginning bit. I'll have to narrate over the top of that again, because I love narrating over videos. Not. So the best thing I can do now is just go and give these a quick clean up in the sink. Clean this up, clean that up, clean that up, clean that up. And then we can start reassembling it all. Even these are a bit mucky. I mean, this is like, you know, it's good quality stainless steel, or it should be anyway. It shouldn't be Chinesium, because these are all genuine KitchenAid parts, but it's even eaten into the stainless. That one's particularly scabby. So, right. Right, let me give this a clean up, and then I'll bring you back when I've done that. Testing, testing, testing. Oh, we're back. Right, so they've cleaned up fairly well. This rubber seal feels okay. That's cleaned up nicely. No, it hasn't. I've missed. I thought I cleaned all that out in there. Let me come back. It's not perfectly clean. I don't know about clean. That could have done with a trip to ultrasonic. That took some getting out. Right, let's start putting this together then. So, just going to massage this seal in a bit of silicone grease. Get it in there. Put a bit more on as well. It's quite runny, this food grade stuff. Food grade just means it's non-toxic and you can use it on machines that you use to prepare food. And I've just realised I forgot to clean the rubber seals, so we are going to disappear again. We're back on, right. Hopefully the lead is right across where the little red light is on the screen. So bearings, let's just check they are the same. Yeah, they look the same. So they are R60... Oh, 608R. 608s. take my word for it, go and check your own, but I'm pretty sure that 608 RS. These are ceramic bearings, so they should last a little bit longer, but what it does mean is I've got to be a lot more careful putting them in. So I've also got to work out which way up this goes as well. Right, I'm pretty sure it goes that way up. Though I could be wrong. No, I don't think it goes. I think it goes there. No, it doesn't. It goes, it's this one that goes on. Because that one goes in first. Yeah, so I'm looking at the wear marks on the witness marks on the shaft, and I can see that that's definitely where that rubber flange was sitting. So this has got to go in first, but we'll make sure that we get a good helping of silicone grease in there as well. So that's got to go in there, not that way up, it hasn't. Oh, come on. I'd like to think I'm doing this the right way. Oh, see, yeah, it's gone in there. I can feel it. Yeah, that's right. That's how it was. I just want to make sure I've got some in the shaft hole as well. Alright, so we need to get this back on here, and it needs to be up there. Now I don't know why it's got that ridge there. I would have thought it would have had a split pin, but there were no split pins on this at all. So I've got to be really careful how we centre this. So I'm hoping that I can knock that in. Not with that. So what I'm doing here is I'm supporting the central race. So as I'm knocking down, I'm not knocking onto the balls, and that's really important when you do this. So I'm hitting that inner race on the top of there. Now the only problem I've got is I think at some point I'm gonna run out of depth, but I might be all right. We might be all right for a bit yet. I can feel it's going in. Yeah, that's right. So I had a major brain fart then that I put it in the wrong way round. A little bit further. We're just aiming to get it on those. A little bit further. I think that's about it. So in theory, this should now go. Oh, I have done it, haven't I? That should have gone on there. Oh! Take it back off again. I'm now going to have to find a small spanner that supports that inner. Alright. So we've got to do the same thing we did before, but this time we've got to be really careful that I support the inner race. Right, let's start again. Right, I think that went that way up, so it's got to go that way. Because we're wanting to stop water from getting in that way when it's being washed. So, yep, that's still good. So put that on there, put that on there. Should go on nice and easy now, we've test fitted it once. What I don't want to do is overshoot or crack this, which is why I'm being really careful how I'm hitting it. Though that does look like it's not monkey metal, because it's an interference fit on a stainless steel shaft, so it must be fairly tough. Possibly machined stainless itself. Come on. Felt it move then. Ooh. A little bit more. Didn't get a good blow on that. Oh, I might be there. A little bit more. Right, I think that'll do. So I think we can now put this in here. I think what we'll do is we'll put a bit of grease on just to help it on its way. We might get lucky, it might just drop in. Now what I've got to be careful of is not wellying that top bit and moving the thing, so I'm kind of hoping that, there we go, I think that's all the way in. Why couldn't it come out like that? Oh, because it was all covered in rust and shit. Yep, that's a good smooth fit, and that's pretty much how it was. That feels great. Right, so what we've got to do now is just drop this back in there, but first things first, we need to get this on. Now you can tell if you've got it in wrong because it won't fit. That's right. Put you back where you can see it. So this is just purely an interference fit. So what you've got to make sure is there's always a machined surface on a washer and the pressed side, so you want to get the flat side on it because it's got to grab this, and there's some of these are what they call sprung washers. They've got a slight dish to them. I can't tell if these are because I've got my shit eyes on, and it's a left hand thread, so twist it the wrong way. Somebody's been twanging me. I need to go and check that in a second. Right, now then. There is one way this works and one way it doesn't work, and if I get it the wrong way round, it takes my fingers off. I think I've got that the wrong way round. So it needs to be tight, but not that tight, because it will self-tighten. Right, that should be able to destroy all fruit now. Oh, that's beautiful. Right, so we should be able to drop this back into here. Let me just go and wash my hands though, so I don't put shitty paw prints all over a nice clean jar that you can't see that's there. That does look a lot better. Well, apart from that scabby bit there. I don't know whether that's on the inside or the outside, to be honest. The trouble is, it's one of those things, and their thing is the same. You put that on, and all shit and crap gets around there, and there's nothing to stop it, and it just builds up. Right, what you've got to be careful of here, there's a couple of lugs, and you've got to make sure you get the lugs in the right place, otherwise it doesn't work. And I can't remember if there's I think there's only one way it goes. It's quite clever. Yeah, so it has to go that way. I don't think it fits any other way. Yeah, right. Because that has to touch a reed switch on the thing. So you can have it one way or the other, and there's two pickups on within the thing. And if you lift this up, it stops the motor. There's a little magnet in there. If you don't believe me, oh, well, it won't stick to that because it's not. Oh, there you go. There you go, magnet. Yep. Right, so we've just got to offer this up from the inside now and hope for the best. We'll try and hold it so you can see it. Of course, I can't see a flipping thing. Right. Oh. Just make sure that that's centered. Try and get it somewhere near lined up, because I did that last time. I seem to remember I didn't quite get it lined up and it looked an absolute pig. I think we've got that in. So because these are a coarse thread and we don't want to knacker them, and what you didn't see was I spun it back slightly with my finger until I felt it drop into the thread, and then I can do the same with this one. I'm not going to fully do them up tight yet, so I'm going to just do the opposite corners first. Opposite poles to turn it till it drops down, and then you know you're in the thread and you're not cutting a new one which will eventually kill the plastic. There we go. So I'm just going to give them a quick tweak with this. One, click, click, click. Just check it's all lined up nicely. It is. There you go. And there shouldn't be any play now, other than a long shaft in one single bearing. It should really be two bearings, to be honest, but I think we've done all right there. That's so I think these are about 80, 100, maybe more for one of them. You cannot buy that piece. Now on the forums, people are saying, oh, you can phone up KitchenAid and they'll send you out some spare parts. If you go on eSpares or anywhere like that, you cannot get spare parts for one of these. You can buy the whole jug, but you can't buy that. So I suspect when you phone them up, they will sell you the whole jug. They will not sell you that boss. For the simple reason is that that's a spinny bladey thing. They're not going to be involved. I think they're an American company. They're not going to be involved in you sticking your fingers anywhere near anything that's metal and spinny, because where there's a blame, there's a claim. And if they sell you a part for you to fit, that kind of implies they're responsible for it. So and obviously if they're making money, I don't know why there's no part. Well, it looks like I said, you can buy the whole jug. But anyway, there you go. We've fixed that, so that can go back upside. It's got loads and loads of spare bearings. I think it cost me about £13 for those bearings. I've got a sneak suspicion I've got a load of these actually in the workshop, exactly the same size as this, because I think they are specialised mountain bike pivot point bearings. Because when I searched it, it came up as bearings, or they could possibly be an axle bearing for a quick release axle, possibly, don't know. But they were coming up as a bike bearing as well, but ceramic. So I think that 14 quid, 10 bearings, that's pretty good. That's £1.40 each. That in the bin, except the bin's not up, so we're not going to throw it. I just need to clean down now and we'll get on to the next video. So hope that was helpful. Something a bit different. I don't know if it's going to go on as a quick video or whether it's going to go on as a Friday special, but it's done now anyway. I have got the plastic jug to do as well, because that sounds like a bag of nails, and I'm hoping it's the same size bearings. That's a completely different mechanism. That looks like you've got the two parts that pinch together aren't screwed through. It looks like you've got to have a special tool to undo it, but I think I might have something. It looks like a 16 point, 12 point or something like that, one of those multi-point things. I've got some of those weird tools in my thing. If not, I think it could even be the same size as a specialised pedal thing that they have. So we'll have a look at that. Anyway, right, so job's a good one. Like and subscribe. There'll be something up there or there, and some more videos there to watch, and possibly something over there to press to subscribe. But anyway, hope that was good. Hands. Job's a good one.